Can tiny homes help the affordability crisis, making it harder to challenge voter registrations, and the best fried chicken in town? But first, I want to ask Hannah Krieg, Seattle's reporter without a boss and founder of The Burner. I feel like we're in this new year right now. So we just had the Lunar New Year. Lent is beginning. Ramadan has just begun. Are there any New Year's resolutions or New Year energy that you want to re-up?
Oh my God, yeah, I feel like I've definitely already failed all my New Year's resolutions. I wanted to get up earlier and take a walk before I started working. I used to walk so much, and then I just I still walk for my main mode of transportation, so I walk maybe more than the average bird, but yeah, maybe that starts tomorrow. Maybe that I do my hour-long walk before work.
The depth of winter is a really hard time to commit to that, and I feel like mid-February feels like maybe a more friendly time to try and get. It's also getting light earlier, so you at least could go for a little walk maybe with sunlight instead
That's
of
true.
in the pitch black.
That would make it a lot better.
What about you, creative producer Liam Billingham? Do you have any New Year's resolutions to re-up?
Well, speaking of walking, our prince of social media, Ben Keenan, has one of those desk treadmills that he just sometimes you'll see him doing this.
The walking
and
pad.
I bought one, and it's sitting under my desk right now, and I set it up this weekend because I don't get enough away from the computer enough, and I would like to be walking more, so I'm going to experiment with this and use it for a few weeks, and if I don't like it, I'm just going to return it. But my goal is to walk more during the day, and I had to kind of find a way to do that.
I find that I get weirdly motion sick on those things. I can't be doing anything substantial if I'm walking on that thing.
Ooh, I hadn't thought of that.
Well, you
hope that doesn't
yourself.
happen to me. I'm just on meetings with you, Jane, oh, guys, I don't feel so good.
Well, if you look a little barfy, I'll know what's going on.
Liam, stop. Get off the treadmill. Okay.
Well, in other New Year news here, we've got some bills that are still in play in the state legislature. So last week, the House passed House Bill 1916, which creates stricter rules for challenging voter registration. In this time right now where there are a lot of unfounded concerns about quote unquote voter fraud, this is a way to try and prevent people from making more frivolous challenges, are what supporters of this bill say. You all might already know that the Trump administration has sued Washington for not sharing voter rolls, and this bill seems like one more way to try and protect against some challenges. So this was first introduced last legislative session, and it passed the House last week, which means that it is still alive. I'm curious if you all have heard about this, and if you know what you currently need to do to be able to challenge a voter registration.
No.
No. Isn't having your voter registration or is it not the signature thing? Tell me. I'm so confused.
So currently, in order to challenge someone's voter registration, you have to send a complaint to the county auditor, and that can be done online. It can also be based on going through online voter registration databases. And the ways that you can challenge are essentially if someone has a felony conviction, if they're declared mentally incompetent, if they live at a different address than they're registered at, if they're not 18, and then the last one is the one that I feel like the Trump administration has really been hammering on, is that they're not a U.S. citizen.
So me, Hannah Krieg, can just take it upon myself to become a vigilante voter registration cop.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
That's
Who
so
does
weird.
this?
Why would anyone do that? That's such a weird pastime.
Some people.
You know what I'm
going to
do is I'm going to challenge some voter registrations today. It's my Tuesday activity. I drink iced tea and do this. What?
So the bill proposes that now you have to have personal knowledge that someone doesn't meet those requirements, and you have to submit a signed affidavit and a form that is actually signed in ink rather than just doing this online. So essentially, supporters of the bill say that you have to put your whole self behind it a little bit. Like, you, under the threat
Okay.
of perjury, you have to be
Okay.
able to say, like, I know for a fact that this person does not meet the standards, and you got to actually fill out this paper form and sign it instead of just being able to do it, I suppose, in batches online. So all of this is happening amidst the federal SAVE Act, which is trying to create different standards that would make it harder to vote. In a lot of states, you would have to present proof of citizenship to register to vote, so showing a passport, for instance, eliminating mail-only registrations, and also requiring photo ID in every state. So, Hannah, I know you covered this a bit because Washington Rep. Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez reversed her vote on this recently. Can you tell us a little bit about why and how that all happened?
Yeah, I mean, her Gluesenkamp-Perez's statement from her office, it wasn't super satisfactory to me, but it kind of seems like she's, really like, it is the same bill that she voted yes on in 2025, almost the same, and she was one of just a handful of Democrats to vote yes to a bill that would have, like, in effect disenfranchised like every married woman in the US from voting. And I think this was one of those votes that really put her on maybe people's radar as someone who isn't just a moderate Democrat maybe, but does like vote with Republicans in a way we don't see, like someone like Kim Schreier, who is also a moderate Democrat in Washington representing a very purple district. And so I think she really did face a lot of backlash from her constituents at home. It's one of those things that comes up at every town hall, it seems like. So I think maybe eyeing that 2026 reelection campaign, and after, receiving, a national clowning over her unpopular vote to fund ICE, I think it's just she can't afford another L.
Yeah.
I really want Hannah to write a book about modern politics called National Clowning, first of all. Like, I think that would be really good. So just to be clear, the bill that's being proposed in Washington basically makes it harder for people to just claim this person is, lying on their voter registration, right?
Yes, I think the idea is that it prevents frivolous challenges that force people to like go in, show documentation, and basically
like
prove.
really put their full body behind the accusation of it. Because right now you could just kind of randomly pick off people and be like, oh, they're registered illegally.
Yes, I think the real question is how many people are actually spending their time doing that, and that is information I don't have.
Totally. But I think, unfortunately, in our current moment, that feels like that's something that could be happening, right? But the SAVE Act is obviously like much more terrifying because it would basically deregister a bunch of people.
Yeah, Hannah, you were saying that a lot of married women would be affected by this if they change their last name, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which
Woof.
I think like something like 70% of women who marry do change their last name.
Those people are real go-getters. I was just far too lazy, honestly. But yeah, I think it's interesting, though, that Gluesenkamp-Perez has backed off from supporting this. I mean, beyond the clowning that you feel like she's taken lately, we think that that's the primary issue, or do we think she's really had a change of heart as there's been more conversations about what the SAVE Act could mean for people?
No, I mean, like, she knew, she's an intelligent woman. Has fully staffed office. Like, she knew what she was voting for in 2025. She knew it was unpopular then. It only received like 4 or 5 Democrat votes. Like, I don't buy that it's a genuine, I learned more, I understand more now. I don't buy that.
It doesn't feel like Democrats are being tricked by this bill, right? Like, it doesn't seem like something where they're like, oh, yeah, you're right, we have to protect the, it feels very like kind of bald-faced if you read anything about it.
Yeah.
The rhetoric has been very much about the possibility of non-citizens voting, but that's already not allowed. So I think it's also interesting that, of course, this is happening at a time that Gluesenkamp-Perez is up for re-election. I know that she has a Democratic challenger this fall, Brett Henrich, What do we know about him? And what do we think are his chances here?
It looked like Brent is with an N. Brent. So hard. Brent, I think, ran against her in the last cycle and then dropped out, or maybe 2 cycles ago even, dropped out when she had more steam. And it looks like he's trying to flank her from the left a little bit. Seems like he really cares about the issue of healthcare. But, I mean, she has a bunch of money and he doesn't have institutional support. It seems like the state party and the Democratic apparatus here in Washington is still thinks Glusenkamp Perez is worth defending.
Can I just say real quick that I like this guy as similarly a middle-aged film bro, because this guy worked in movie theaters and worked at Christie Digital Cinemas, where he put installed Dolby Cinemas all over the world before he got into politics. So like, were I voting in this district, I'd be all over this guy. I'm very on board. Yeah. But it is true. He lost a child, and healthcare is a big priority of his. And he does sound like more progressive. So progressive film bros who are my age, let's go. Let's go.
If Liam is suddenly registered in that district, then we know some fraud went down.
Are you going to challenge my registration?
Yeah, and I'll have personal information, so I'll be able to do it.
We'll put our whole ass behind this and
I'll
sign
an
a piece of
affidavit.
paper. Yeah, Hannah and I both.
That would be a tense Mondays for a while if that were to happen.
All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about another bill that might help with Seattle's affordability issues. We all know that living in Seattle is extremely expensive, and we're all on the lookout for more affordable living situations. A bill that was proposed in the state house proposes allowing people to live in tiny homes on wheels or RVs as long as they have utility hookups. And this is only in urban areas in Washington. So HB 1443 was introduced last year and it stalled. As of this recording, it looks pretty unlikely to pass again this year. But either way, I think it's an interesting conversation about affordability and housing here, that this would even be an option. Would tiny spaces make living here more accessible for people, like RVs or these little tiny homes on wheels?
I mean, I hope so. I feel like this is a positive change because housing is so expensive here, right? I think like this feels like kind of a progressive move and a positive one. And also like with the way that people are living differently with remote work or whatever they happen to be doing, like it feels like a step in the right direction. And like housing is so expensive here that, and everywhere, that like it feels like a good model potentially for other places going forward.
I'd be curious, where are you going to put this stuff? You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is a kind of, maybe I don't know a ton about the bill, so I'm kind of speaking out of nowhere. RVs are one level, you know what I'm saying? And they take up a lot of space. This is not a very efficient use of space to be like, we're going to solve our housing crisis by adding more like single level, single family dwellings.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I understand like it'd probably be like a community, but you know, you could, if you are really looking for small spaces, and I don't really like this model either, but wouldn't apartments be, or like very small apartments be more efficient in an urban area? Maybe that's why it's been banned before, because it's not, I would imagine, I don't even know where you'd put it. Doesn't sound like the most efficient use of space.
Yeah, Hannah, what you're saying is build up, not out.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, because where are you going to put it?
I think the idea is that some of these would be in people's backyards or in driveways in areas where you might not be using that space otherwise. So, okay, I'm curious, have you all ever lived in what would be considered like a tiny home? Like, have you ever lived in an apartment or known someone who does?
Does my tiny apartment in Queens in 2000, Queens, New York counts?
It might. How many square feet was it?
No, it didn't. It was very small, though. I will say that, you know, starter apartments.
Yeah, I lived in a tiny home that was 600 square feet. But I think that when we're talking about these RVs or tiny homes on wheels, we're talking probably like half of that amount of space.
I have too many books and too many Blu-rays for this to work, unfortunately.
It's the Blu-rays that are going to do you in. I mean, have you all seen these in your neighborhood? I feel like, Hannah, you live on the hill, so I don't know that there's that much space for them to actually get put
Yeah.
in people's backyards. Like,
I mean, my friend lived in like an ADU and stuff, so I'm familiar with that kind of like lot sharing thing. And that seems like all good and well. Probably won't solve the housing crisis, but no housing should be illegal.
yeah,
Hey,
fun
man.
fact, did you all know that our laws changed around what kind of ADUs you can put in your backyards now?
No.
Oh.
So for a while, it was that you could have two ADUs, but only one of them could be detached from your house, like a
Mm.
fully like
Mm.
separated tiny house, and the other one had to be attached in some way if you wanted to have a second one. And so it was incentivizing developers to build these little compounds where you had essentially like a three pack where it was like two houses that were connected by what some developers called an umbilical cord. Like you had like this weird little sky bridge or like a connection on the first floor. And then you had your little separate ADU in the back, called a DADU, often detached ADU. Accessory dwelling unit for
Dadu is
people who
cute.
don't know the ADU abbreviation. But yeah, then they changed it to two. So I'm curious if we're going to see more of those, just period. Especially, I live in North Seattle. I feel like they have been super popular. Like I've seen a lot of
Mm-hmm.
them in my
Mm.
neighbors' backyards. And I don't know that this particular bill is going to have any steam this legislative session, but it would be interesting to see if people took advantage of this kind of prefab RV slash tiny home on wheels instead of having to, build something from scratch on their property.
I mean, you're definitely going to see more. Like, I lived in California before this, and there was these lots that had these massive houses on them. And then when people would move out, the developers would knock them down and build 4 small units, right? Like, I was seeing more of that. And, like, to Hannah's point, like, no housing should be illegal. Like, feels logical, right? Considering no one is buying these massive houses or can't, frankly, afford them in states like that. I think it's inevitable. And I think, like, finding ways to build up and to use these oversized lots to make housing more affordable seems like the way forward.
Yeah, and talking to a lot of neighbors in especially the more residential areas of town, a lot of them were quite concerned about that changing the general nature of the neighborhood, right? Like the character of a relatively quiet neighborhood, instead of having these single family houses, you've got what looks more like a compound, especially with some of this modern architecture. I know a lot of people have strong feelings about.
A lot of coded stuff going
Yeah,
on in this.
I'd hate for them to find out what was here before all the houses were here. Beautiful fucking trees will never get back. It's like you kind of shut up, but
The
not you.
trees, the
people you're
trees
representing.
are a part of it too, actually. So
Oh, yeah,
there's been a
sure.
lot of concern over old growth trees getting cut down to
Totally.
make more room on these lots. And that's been a really, I think, heated conversation as well.
Well, this is a huge part of Katie Wilson's, time now that she's mayor. Like, we're going to be talking more and more about this, and like that. I mean, I hate that NIMBY attitude. Kind of needs to go away, because it's just reality. If you want a vibrant city, you need people to be able to live in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was also thinking about, in the context of this bill, I feel like RV living in tiny homes, like you often see people giving tours of their tiny, tiny space online and kind of having like this van life influencer vibe. Why do we glorify that kind of thing but not apartments? Is this better or worse than living in an apartment?
The thing against an apartment, I guess, is just you have like a shared kitchen space, which I think would be
That's right.
frustrating. Not like, and also like they're not like something that's gonna be maybe as cute as your like cute like expensive van that like most people who live in vans don't have like this expensive setup anyway. It's so I don't
Yeah.
know.
There's something about like I'm living on the road that's very romantic to
That's
a certain
true.
subsection of American too, right? That's like, oh, I go where the wind takes me or whatever, right? You know, I think that that's part of it.
Yeah,
And I
I
think the
shit in a
tiny-
bucket, you know?
Rugged individualism. Yes.
Right. I have to dump this at a stop once a week, and it's
Gross.
gross.
Gross,
But at
gross,
least I
gross.
don't, you know. Yeah, I think the apartment, like you just see these little spaces, and you're like, that looks like it would be hard and isolating. That's probably part of it too. But maybe it isn't when you have to share communal space with people.
True.
I don't know why, but I just don't like the pun in the name. Apodment, for some reason, just sets me off.
It sounds like a product you would buy in the hygiene aisle at like a CVS that's behind glass, and you have to get them to open it for you.
Really? See, I was thinking that it sounded more like a children's toy. Like you build an apodment.
Oh, I always think it just sounds
Could hear
like
that.
you have a speech impediment when you say it.
Or that you're like, guys, I've got bad news. I have a podment. And everyone's like, there's a cream for that. Like, I think like they'd advertise it during the Super Bowl, you know, with a guy
That's
throwing
funny.
a football, and they'd list all the symptoms.
All right. Well, listeners, I'm so sorry if you live in an apodment because I feel like we are dunking on you so hard. But
No
I would,
disrespect.
I would love to hear what it's like to live in one of them because I drive by them all the time and I've always been curious. All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, we have a Liam rant about fried chicken. All right, take it away, Liam.
Thank you, Jane. So, it has come to my attention through Ben and Ashley that a Raising Cane's, the fried chicken chain, has opened here in Seattle in the U District. I've never tried a Raising Cane's. I've never been to one. I don't need a ton of fast food. But when I lived in Burbank, California, Raising Cane's opened, and it was like chaos. There's tons of traffic on the street. People were like prevented from turning onto their own streets and getting to their own house. They had to have
Good God.
police outside to manage traffic, and they'd be like, you can't turn that way. And people would be like, I live on that street. That's my street. There was even a lawsuit related to its construction, and like I think someone...
What?
Because like people lost their mind
Yeah.
about a fast food place. And so my feeling is that like it creates chaos. I don't know why people get so excited about this stuff, but I'm curious, like I'm assuming there's really good fried chicken in Seattle besides Raising Cane's. So where can we get good fried chicken to not have to go to the place that's going to be chaos?
Oh, man, this is totally my wheelhouse. I
Yeah,
grew
you
up-
love fried chicken.
I love fried chicken. I grew up in Kentucky. I've been on a journey trying to find the best fried chicken in this city. I will say I haven't had Raising Cane's either. I have seen a lot of like TikTok influencers doing mukbangs. If people don't know what a mukbang is, they essentially just eat a ton of food on camera. And it's a little bit gross, but also
Yeah.
I will say that the fried chicken from Raising Cane's looks good because they dip it in what's essentially a giant soda
Sized?
can thing. Or, wait, what is that called?
A cup?
Thank
It's
you.
like a real
A
soda cup.
Yes.
It's like a fucking 16 ounces.
Yes. It's like a full like Coke worth of Raising
Mhm.
Cane's sauce. And
Which
that
I think Ben
does look
bathes
good.
in now, based on what I've seen of his videos. He just really loves that stuff.
Amazing, amazing. But I do think that there are a lot of great spots in Seattle that are not necessarily a chain restaurant that you have to wait in line for. Liam, I know you're not a big line fan.
Hate lines, hate groups of people.
Yes.
Hate leaving. I like leaving my house. I just don't like anything that's out there, unfortunately. Hannah, have you tried Raising Cane's?
Vegetarian.
Okay.
I know
well,
I've tried the bread. I had it in like California once, and the sauce was good, and I dipped the bread in the sauce because I saw they do that online, which is kind of weird.
Is it good? Is it worth the hype?
Honestly, it was pretty good. I probably won't go there just because I imagine it's gonna be nuts, like Liam said, for the next like 3 months. But if you're looking for good like vegetarian chicken, I like Life on Mars cauliflower wings.
I
Life
love
on Mars
cauliflower
does
wings.
have good fake. What do you call that? What is the name for not real chicken?
I guess
Not real chicken, I think.
Great, that's the name now. I'm sure they have a better
Uh,
name for it.
There's got to be one. Let's see if we can figure it out. But Jane, where do you go for fried chicken?
Okay, I've got a list of, I'm not kidding, 30 places that people have recommended to me. Here are the places I've been that I really enjoy. Twilight Exit, which you
Oh.
wouldn't think of as necessarily a fried chicken place. It's a divey bar in the Central District.
Oh,
They have a surprisingly good fried chicken sandwich. Like, I went in there with a friend not expecting anything and was like, this might be my new go-to spot. Don't blow it up too much, guys. I want to not have to wait in line.
I'm going there after this call ends.
It's also
50
just
of my
a fun
best
bar.
friends.
I love that place. Also in Interbay-ish, Sisters and Brothers. Really great.
Yeah.
Really great. Lot of great southern sides as well. There's Cookie's Country Kitchen in Ballard, which also has pretty good sides and is an easy place to just kind of stop into. Like, you know, it's not like a bar the way that Twilight Exit is. So get something to go if you want. There's also Chicken Supply in Greenwood. They do run out sometimes. So those are not fried chicken sandwiches, but just more different types of fried chicken. I love Bait Shop on the Hill. Also super fun. Tiki drinks. I went there for my birthday one year and really enjoyed drinking out of a fishbowl while also having a really good fried chicken sandwich. And
You know you're winning when that happens.
that was exactly the birthday I wanted to have, yeah. And I love Milk Drunk on Beacon Hill. They also have really great soft serve. I find that if I have one, it's not even a complaint, really. You just have to be in the mood to have, I think, some really delicious fried things. They also have enormous mozzarella sticks, which is another type of food that I never find in Seattle. I feel like we have a shortage of mozzarella sticks in town.
We're going to have to do an investigative story about that.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
You know who used to have mozzarella sticks and needs to get it back? Linda's. Linda's used to have mozzarella sticks so good. Not enough places are having the Moz stick. It's one of the best bar snacks of all time.
Yeah.
They're incredible. They're
so
incredible.
good.
They're so
Crowd
good.
pleaser.
It seems like just low-hanging fruit for
Really
something.
hot mozzarella stick. Oh,
Mhm.
the
You had
dream.
to burn the inside of your mouth a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that's like that recent Onion article that was like, man burns mouth, knows he will do it again, or something like that. I forget what it was. But let me ask you this. Is there a good spot where you could go for fried chicken, but also like if someone else in the group, say your mom was visiting right now and is in the next room and wanted to get a salad while you ate fried chicken, is that possible?
Whew. Great
I know it's a tall order and a very
question.
specific question.
I don't remember Sisters and Brothers' whole menu, but they have many other things besides the fried chicken. So I think that would be probably your best bet for also getting
because now I want
green
fried chicken.
vegetable. Yeah, while I was looking at my list, I was thinking, this might be time to revisit some of these places or dip out for my lunch break.
And what was the name of the place, Hannah, you said for people that don't eat meat? For the faux chicken or whatever we're calling it?
I thought Life on Mars had pretty good cauliflower wings.
I love cauliflower wings. All right, Life on Mars.
Nice. Oh, I'll also shout out, I think Baka Bak uses a breading that people who have gluten intolerance can still eat.
My mom is gluten-free.
Okay, so that could be an option. I don't know what they have in the way of vegetables or salad, but maybe worth a shot if the breading is an issue for your tummy.
I did order chicken wings from a spot for the Super Bowl, and they forgot all my sauces.
No.
Yeah, it's like brutal.
That's
like
very
I just had like
sad.
just had like regular wings, right? And like blue
Oh.
cheese dipping sauce, but nothing. So I need to get back out there. You know, my heart was broken once, but I need to get back out there with the wings.
Yeah, and I am all ears for any listeners that want to give us recommendations. I am forever looking for the go-to spot. I feel like my ideal spot would be one that you could get takeout from or that you could go and actually have a meal there. And it's been kind of tricky trying to find a place that's the right balance of those things. I will say that my all-time favorite place has closed. And this is the problem with living in a city where you've got all of the turnover from restaurants. Montlake Market, which used to be where 520 now has expanded into, used to have the most amazing fried chicken and JoJo's, which are fried potatoes if you don't know. And it was cheap You could ask them to put
Hungry.
the chicken tenders on a sandwich, and it was so good, and I think about it all the time, and I miss it so very much. But I know that for every place that closes down, there is at least one, if not three, new places that are probably just as good that I haven't heard about. So
Also,
yeah.
to get back to the original thought here, go to a local spot. You don't have to go to a chain. You don't have to go to just go somewhere local.
To be too much of a hater because there
Sure.
are certain chains that I love for whatever reason. Like I love Chili's. I love Taco Bell. I love
Chili's is good.
Yes, I love In-N-Out. I don't know. Maybe I would love Raising Cane's if I had it. I just haven't yet. And maybe we'll just wait like a month or two for the lines to die down and actually give it a try.
I think you should pull your car up to the front of the line and be like, "No, I'm the host of CityCast Seattle. I have to get in."
Don't you know who I am? Yeah, no, I'm sure everyone would love
It's me,
that.
Jane C. Who.
Yes. All right.
Maybe they'll recognize you and let you in. Oh, wow, a celebrity.
Oh shit. They might.
Well, if you work at Raising Cane's, I guess get ready. That's all. That's all we have today here at CityCast Seattle. Hannah, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
And Liam, thank you for bringing us this little rant.
Of course, anytime.
I'm your host, Jane C. Who, and I wanted to shout out some of our new neighbors. So if you all listened last week, you know that we launched CityCast Seattle Neighbors, our membership program, and it has been so wonderful to see so many of you join us. So I wanted to shout out Rich A., Adam E., Molly S., Jerry W., Stephanie B., Lisa L., Benjamin J., Joe L., Terrence K., and Ruth T. One of the cool perks of becoming a CityCast neighbor is that you get to shout out a business or an organization that you really love in town. And Ruth T shouts out Seattle Reconomy, which runs 2 tool libraries in North Seattle where members can check out thousands of tools, fix their bikes, or learn to sew. They've had a bunch of really great events over the last few months as well. I think I've shouted them out in some of our roundups of cool events around town. So if you want to learn more about them, you can go to seattlereconomy.org. And listeners, we really do love hearing from you. If you have fried chicken recommendations, if you live in an apartment and you want to tell us what it's like, you can always email us at seattle@citycast.fm. You can also text us or leave us a voicemail on the CityCast hotline at 206-880-3931. And if you're enjoying the podcast, follow us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen so you never miss an episode. You can also leave us a review. It's really helpful. And tell your friends about us. You can also get more local news and events delivered right to your inbox by subscribing to our newsletter. Just go to seattle.citycast.fm. And you can always find us on TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube at CityCast Seattle. Until tomorrow, see ya, Seattle.